In this video, we'll be showing you how to send Slack alerts when a Fivetran sync finishes successfully. Let's jump in. So we're going to start off inside of Fivetran and show the connector that we're going to sync inside of Shipyard. So you can see it's just this Google Sheets solution video test table that we're going to sync over from Google Sheets into BigQuery. So let's jump over into Shipyard and show how we can start that sync off. So inside of Shipyard, we move over into our fleet builder, and I can search for our Fivetran blueprints. And then we want to execute sync in the check status. So click on that. It's going to pull up where you can go through our authorization guide to get your API key and API secret if you don't have it already. I'm going to close that for right now. So we'll call this vessel execute sync and check status. Grab my API key and API secrets. And of course, you're going to need your connector ID that's also inside of Fivetran. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that and put it in there as well. And then very quickly, we can see that you can set notifications for any error or any completion of an on-demand run inside of Shipyard to any email or any number of emails. And then also we can set guardrails based on number of retries, time between retries, and then also runtime cutoff. So now that we have our vessel set up for our Fivetran to execute that sync and then check the status for when it finishes or when it fails, we can go ahead and add our Slack vessel that's going to send a message when that is completed. So for Slack, we want to go and send a message. Pull it over there. So you want to say send message when Fivetran sync complete successfully. Okay, so we'll send it to a channel. The channel name, we'll send it to the Slack testing channel I created inside of our Slack. I'm going to go ahead and notify me, so it'll send the message to the channel, but it will at me and ping me directly, so I'll know when the Fivetran sync is finished. Message, I'll say the Google Sheet sync is completed successfully. And then the only thing we need for Slack for authentication is just our Slack token. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste that in there. And then we want to connect these two vessels together, and then we want this to run on a success. So whenever that first vessel succeeds, so whenever the sync completes successfully, it can send that message with Slack. So the last thing we want to do before we save and finish this thing and start an on-demand run is we want to go to our fleet settings and name the fleet. So we'll name this Fivetran to Slack alert when a sync completes successfully. Okay, so let's go ahead and click save and finish, and let's get this thing running. So I'm going to click the save and finish button. It's going to take us to a screen that's going to say the fleet has been created successfully, and then I want to click run your fleet. So that's going to begin an on-demand run inside of Shipyards. There's also two other ways that you can kick off a fleet run. So you can do that with our triggers. So the two type of triggers that we have is our scheduling triggers, which we can schedule by time or by day or by week. And then we also have webhook API triggers that you can call the API from any application, and it'll kick off this fleet run for you. So while this is running, we can click inside of the Gantt chart on our fleet log to kind of show the live output as this thing is running. So you can see. You can see as this reloads here in a second that it's gonna set our environment variables based on the inputs that we had before, and it's going to hide any password fields that we had. So those API fields that we set in earlier for Fivetran, it's gonna hide those for us. It's gonna hide those for excuse me, like you can see here, so that no one can see them if they're just looking at the output. So we can move back to the fleet log. And as soon as this Fivetran sync completes successfully, it's going to move into sending that message in Slack. Okay, so we can see now the Gantt charts turn green for that Fivetran sync and check status. So that means that is completed successfully, and now you can see the second vessel that we had set up, the Slack alert, has started and it just completed as well. So now if we pull up Slack, we'll be able to see that message was sent, and you can see here that the Google Sheet sync is completed successfully, which is the message that we set up to be sent inside of Shipyard. So in this video, we covered how to kick off a Fivetran sync, and then as soon as it finishes successfully, send a message inside of Slack letting your team know that the sync finished successfully. If you have any questions about this solution or any other potential solution, use the link in the description to set up a time to chat with our team of data experts. You can go to shipyardapp.com to start building powerful workflows just like this for free. Want to see us tackle more solutions? Check out these related videos.